video, and I'm going to discuss the hospital, Governor Solara's hospital in BOHOL, and what I rate the hospital as in regards to efficiency. Hold on a minute. Cleanliness, courtesy, professionalism, and state-of-the-art equipment. Okay, we're back. We've been experiencing lots of blackouts and an internet failure for the last 3 days here in BOHOL. So now that I have the house alone for a few hours, I sent off various people to go play in various different places. I wish to explain from the videos I uploaded. If you were to look, and there are people that'll look in great detail. For instance, the video I uploaded where there were 5 people in a hospital room, 5 beds, and then there were several people at each bed. Well, that's just because of the lack of hospital space that they have here in the Philippines. But that does not in any way, shape, or form give you an idea of the quality of the hospital care here that I received, for sure. So there were other videos that I had made where the gentleman was pushing me up switchbacks with I was in a wheelchair at the time, but when I was removed from the room for surgery, they put me on a gurney and brought me down a ramp system that's probably been in place since the hospital was built in the 60s, perhaps. And that ramp system goes from the top of the hospital to the basement. So it looks archaic, but in fact, it's actually quite a good thing to have that ramp system because BOHOL has so many blackouts. It assures the guarantee of the safe passage of people if there was a problem in the hospital down to the street level. So that may look archaic or unprofessional, but in fact its quality of the ramps are perfect, and the safeness of the operation guarantees you a safe travel to the street level. So the in fact part of the hallways being narrow and many people in the hallways has nothing to do with the care I received. So the reason that the hospital is crowded is because there's simply not enough hospitals in the Philippines to take care of the amount of surgeries and other issues that have to be taken care of. Now, there were many comments, why did I wait 14 months to have an operation? Well, I got a hernia during Cyclone Odette in 2022, and then I'll go into the quality of care, which I will just give you a brief a very brief fact is that the care was excellent, but I'll go into why it was excellent in a moment. So I got my hernia, I received my hernia, I was gifted with my hernia. During Cyclone Odette, I was putting a wooden horse on the top of one of my cargo containers, and I was pulling it up with a rope, and it ripped my stomach. Now, I had a hernia back in 2001. I also, an umbilical hernia. I felt it rip in 2001. I remember what it felt like. And but this one was on the side of my belly. And at that time, it was just a rip. The muscle ripped. There was no internal organs or small intestine coming out of the rip. About a month later, I was picking something else up, and I don't remember what it was at the time. I was working, and I felt a bulge come out of that rip. And that rip was, now it was a small intestine coming through the ripped muscle, probably in February. It was shortly after that, February of 2022. So at that point, I went to the hospital. I was still with Daisy at the time, and what had happened is immediately after the intestine started to come out through the rip itself, it went down, I pushed it back in, and then the swelling from the hernia caused my left testicle to swell up about the size of a 28-ounce jar of peanut butter. So that was a little bit disheartening, and it was interesting, to say the least. And what I did was, in February of 2022, I went to the doctor. I went to the hospital. I made an online appointment, and I went there, and they said, "Sir, you're going to have to come back for a sonogram and a chest x-ray and a CAT scan, and then we will have a better idea what your hernia looks like." So I did all the paperwork for that, and I paid, I think it was $80 for the blood. I'd had to do blood work also, because they won't operate on you, or maybe they will, but they want to know if you have any kind of STD. They want to know that before they even start talking to you about an operation. So we went through the blood work and the urine analysis, which is very professional, and then a chest x-ray, and then a sonogram, or ultrasound, excuse me, for the hernia. But it took about 2 weeks to get that done. The blood I did right away, and then it took about a week to get the tests back. And so by the mid of February, they had all my results, and with all negative. I had no, they test you for gonorrhea, for chlamydia, herpes, 1 or 2. I guess they test you for all STDs, and they also test your blood sugar for diabetes, and so on and so forth. So that test cost about $85. The sonogram was relatively cheap. I think it was only $6. And the chest x-ray was actually about the same. All of the tests came to about $100. Then it was about a week before I could see a doctor, because the doctor that I would need to see to interpret the ultrasound was not in the hospital at that time, that day. So they said, come back next week. So I came back with my chest x-ray, my blood work, my urine analysis paperwork in hand, and the bill has to be paid. The bill gets paid before you get your paperwork. So I did that by mid-February of 2022, and then we scheduled for the first opportunity to get an operation of that kind from that surgeon in that hospital was May 2nd of 2023. Sounds like a long time, 11 months, but that's what it was. So I waited, and in the interim they gave me the specifics of what I would need. Before you get the operation, you do the blood work, the urine analysis, and the chest x-ray. Again, that will be done within 30 days of the operation. So in regards to their professionalism and the workmanship of the work itself, I think my operation is a success. I certainly believe everything they did was professional. All of the rooms I did my blood work in, the sonograph, the ultrasound. I did a CAT scan. All the equipment is state of the art. It's not like what you hear people talk about. The Philippines hospitals are not on par with other hospitals. The equipment is state of the art. So when the 30 days before the operation appears, what you need to do, you need to do a lot of stuff. They give you an interview asking you if you're still up for the operation. They had me come back twice in the interim to check to see if the swelling had gone up, the testicle swelling. And one of the key questions they asked me is there pain? And I said, not really. I mean, I feel it, you know, but I mean, if I pick something up that's really heavy, it gets bigger. the doctor went he went sideways on me. He said, "Didn't I tell you don't pick up anything that weighs more than a 1 gallon milk container?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "Well, then don't do it." I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. What happens if I do pick up something heavy and it explodes?" He goes, "Or if there's a lot of pain." He says, "Let's just say, let me put it to you like this. If you have a lot of pain and you can't urinate or defecate, you have 20 minutes to get to the hospital, because it's possible that something inside may explode." He says, "If you pick up something heavy and it fills up your testicle with too much intestine, it's possible your intestine could explode inside your testicle." I was just thinking about some of the things I was doing that week that weighed a lot more than a gallon of milk. So at that point, I stopped doing really heavy stuff, because now we're a month away from the operation well, we were several months away, but I was a month away from being a month away. So I stopped doing heavy work. He said, they said this from the beginning, you cannot do what you know. Swimming, out of the question. Swimming, out of the question. I said, scuba diving, out of the question. Scuba diving. How about parachuting? No parachuting. Bungee jump? No bungee jumping. And I said, well, what else is there? How about jet skis? No jet skis. He was so clear. He said, what I would like you to do is sit down in a comfortable chair or lay in bed for the next 11 months. So yeah, okay. So 2 months out, started getting serious. He gave me a list of stuff that's going to have to get done. And it all has to be done within 29 days of the operation. So I'll give you a list. This is it's a sequence of events. So on April 2nd, I went in for a blood work, at the laboratory, state-of-the-art laboratory in GOV.CELESTINO Hospital, and that takes 2 days to get the blood results back. I did a urine analysis. That could come back the next day. So back I went on April 4th to do that. And then I showed the doctor. Now you have to go to the doctor each step of the way. I showed one of the staff the results. They says, okay, now you can do your ultrasound again, a chest x-ray, and another CAT scan. I said, okay. So I did that, and then I had to wait 3 days. CAT scan comes back that same, you walk out with the results. The chest x-ray takes 2 days, and the urine and blood analysis takes 2 days. So by April 6th, I had my results, and they were checked, but it was so crowded in the hospital, I had to come back on the 7th or the 8th to have somebody review the results. So at that point, then they give you your requirements, not fiduciary requirements, that you pay that money before you leave the hospital. So bring money. So now the requirements are you have to bring a blood donor, any blood donor. It could be anybody. Now I'm going to go through what's acceptable here in the Philippines for a blood donor. You have to bring them a pint of blood. I said, well, why don't I donate my blood? And then if blood is needed, we'll have my blood on reserve. No, sir. You have to bring a separate blood donor. So that's a requirement. So right around the 10th, I had a hobble driver, motorcycle driver that I used, named Donnie. And Donnie came. He was all for this. He was going to give me blood, and I was going to pay him I would pay him his whole day's wages. I mean, it's his time. We had to wait in the blood donor office for several hours. So we get to it's in the hospital, on the grounds of the hospital. And we had been sent to the laboratory by mistake to give. The laboratory is where you give a sample of blood, and that's on the 3rd floor. But the blood donor bank is in a separate part of the hospital on the same grounds. So they sent me up to the laboratory. This is one of the parts that's confusing about the Philippines. Because you say, I'm here to give blood, and they sent me to a laboratory to take blood samples. What they meant, what I should have made clear is I have to give a pint of blood. So Donnie got up. That's on the 3rd floor. And the 2nd floor, a guy that I had made arrangements with for 3 days to do this and pay him. We got to the 2nd floor, the elevator door opened up, and I said, no, it's on the 3rd floor. Well, he got nervous, and he walked out of the elevator. So I walked out with him. I said, no, Donnie, maybe you didn't understand English. The blood is on the 3rd floor. I cannot. What do you mean you cannot? I cannot give blood. Why? You picked me up at 6:30 in the morning to get here at 7. Why can't you give blood? My wife, she needs to eat. Kaon. I said, what time does your wife eat? 9 o'clock. I said, it's 8 o'clock now. You'll be done in 45 minutes. No. She has to eat at 9 o'clock. So you cannot give blood. No. So I asked him how many pesos he wanted to pick me up. And he wanted 200 pesos. I gave him 200. I gave him the change in my pocket and 2 100 peso bills, 230 pesos for a motorcycle ride. Now I'm here in the city. So I tried to get another blood donor, and I did right away. I walked up to a fella in the stands, in the staging area for waiting for his family for something. And I said, look, dude, you want to make a certain amount of pesos to give blood? 500. And I'll give you 500 pesos for a few hours. We have to go upstairs, fill out some forms, and give blood. He goes, sure. He was happy to do it. He's given blood before. He knows all about giving blood. Let's go. So we went, and he comes out of the room. He forgot to tell me that he was drunk. He was drunk, not from last night.
To efficiency.
Hold on a minute. He wasn't drunk from last night. He was drunk from the morning. He was drinking in the morning. He drank before he got to the hospital. And his name was Dong Dong, D-O-N-G, because I filled out the report for Dong Dong in English. So Dong Dong was drunk. So I laughed, and I asked him if he wanted any pesos. He goes, no, it's okay. And he left. So now I'm looking for another fella. I went to the ICM mall to find my tricycle driver, but he wasn't around. So I got another tricycle driver. And I said, Eugene, oh, no, this is Peter, you want to give blood? Because I know them all. And he goes, yeah. I says, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go to the hospital. Now it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The blood bank closes at 3. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the hospital, and you're going to give blood. The blood from you, I'll give you 500 pesos for your time. Okay, let's go. So we go. And the fella says, he goes into the room, he fills out the paperwork. And he has high blood pressure. They won't take blood from somebody with high blood pressure. So that was Donnie, Dong, and now Peter. 3 people. So I says, okay, to the lady, don't worry, I'll come back tomorrow with somebody. So the next day I came back with somebody, and I asked them if they had high blood pressure. No. Are they drunk? No. And are they, does their wife have to have breakfast? No. So let's go upstairs. I had found another tricycle driver named Eugene. Well, as it turns out, Eugene had a tattoo within a year, so he was ineligible. But I went to the city just for this. So they have some rules as far as donating blood. So they said, well, look, we'll just we'll waive this for now. We'll give you a waiver, which was very nice of them, and you bring a blood donor when you come to the hospital. So I had, of course, Daisy May and her sister, 2 healthy women. Well, Daisy May fit the description perfectly, except Daisy May weighs 46 kilos. And you have to be 50 kilos to give blood. There is no list of stuff you have to be. They interview the blood donor. So we brought back Daisy May's sister, and she's nursing a baby. She's not allowed to give blood either. So what was that? That's 6 donors that I brought back. 6 donors. So I said to them, well, we'll find a blood donor. They said, you'll find somebody. Take your time. They know I'm not going anywhere. So that was that. So by the 11th or 12th of April, I had my testing done, no blood donor, and then they said that they gave me instructions. You're going to come. Oh, so I went to the doctor on the 11th. Let's say it was the 12th of April. This is really confusing because this is the Philippines, baby. The stuff isn't in a computer. It's on a chart, on a piece of paper, in a book, or on your graph, or on a piece of paper that they give you to keep track of what's going on, and you give it to them when you go to the hospital. So on the 12th, I met a doctor named Dr. Jethro. Let me tell you something. You go into GOV.CELESTINO Hospital and you meet Dr. Jethro, tell him you want a different doctor, because he's not really a doctor. So, and this is an ongoing joke in the hospital. So I sit down in the room, surgery room, OPD, and I don't know what he is. No one ever told me what Jethro does there. Because of what he did, no one wants to admit that he even exists in the system as a person and working for the hospital. So I go in on the 12th and I sit down. He takes my chart And he looks at all the papers that I had, the CAT scan, the blood work, chest x-ray, all that stuff. He asks me if I'm Michael Fazio and so on and so forth. I'm sitting there in the chair, yes. And he says, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to schedule. Now, he has a piece of paper that has a scheduled surgery date for May 2nd, May 2, number 2. He has a piece of paper that says that I got back in February of 2022, 11 months ago. And he said, we're going to schedule you for May 4th. I said, well, no, I'm in the book for May 2nd. No, so I'm going to be the doctor, Jethro. I'm going to be the doctor. I'm rescheduling you. Now, I don't know that he's a doctor or not a doctor. How do you tell if someone is a doctor or not? They have a badge on, and there's no ID, really, doctor this, or there's just a name tag. So I said, okay. And then he gives me a list of stuff that I have to do. And I said, well, I already did the blood test. When? I says, you just read the papers. I just gave you the papers. Do you remember what day the blood test was on? I'm going, it's in the paperwork. Okay. So he looks through the paperwork and he goes, okay, all your paperwork is good. Oh. So I said, oh, good to hear. So now I'm sitting down in the office. He goes, yeah, you'll come in on the 3rd, and then you have to get a blood. I know. I've talked to the blood bank about the blood donor. He goes to me, it has to be your type of blood. I said, no. The other doctor said that it could be anybody that donates blood, any kind of blood. It would be good if it was my type of blood, but it could be any kind of blood. Yes, sir. They were wrong. You have to bring in a blood donor with O positive. So I said, well, are you sure? Yes, sir, I'm positive. And it has to be done by the 15th. So now I have 3 days, after going through 6 people, 3 days to get a blood donor with O positive. So I tried. No one knows what their blood type is here. And the few people that were O positive that I talked to had given blood. There's a list of people, believe it or not. The guards at the gate of the hospital have 1 or 2 people in their phone that are regular blood donors for people that need blood. But everybody that could give blood had given blood before, within the last 60 days. And no one had O positive blood anyway. So I went back on the 15th to the surgery department. And I said, this is what happened. I can't find somebody with O positive. And they said, well, it doesn't have to be O positive. Jethro's gone now. I said, well, Dr. Jethro said, I had his name written down on the paper. I write everything down. Who is Dr. Jethro? I said, he's the man who changed the date of my operation to May 4th. Who did that? Dr. Jethro. Why did he do that? Well, he said he was the surgeon, and he was changing the date. Do you know what he looks like? I said, yeah. Is he in here now? I said, no. And they said, well, let's look in the book. So, okay, look in the book. So they open up the book. This is no joke. They open up the book. And the books are super big. They're like 2 feet high by 18 inches wide. And the lady opens up the book. And for May 2nd, my name isn't in the book. It's not even in. I watched the doctor put my name in the book. It's in pencil. But I watched last February him put my name in the book. And then I watched Dr. Jethro tell me that he changed it but I didn't see him put it in the book. He opened up the book where I was sitting, where I couldn't see through the cover of the book. I don't know what he did. So you're not scheduled for an operation. I said, scheduled since last February. How do you know that? I said, because I spoke with Dr. Sarah last night. We texted each other, told her I was coming in today. Do you have Dr. Sarah's phone number? Yes, I have Dr. Sarah's phone number. So, may we have it? I said, yeah, I give him Dr. Sarah's phone number. And Dr. Sarah confirmed May 2nd operation. In the room, they said, well, we're looking in the book and we can't find Sir Fazio's name. And when they closed the book, it was a surgery book, but it was for pregnancy, surgeries, cesarean surgeries, something that had to do with pregnant women as the title of the book. So I said, well, maybe it's in a different book. And the doctor on duty said, oh, yeah, that's the wrong book. So they opened up the right book, and my name was listed for May 2nd. Well, we're all back on track now, except that they want to know who this Dr. Jethro is. I don't know. I have no idea who Dr. Jethro is. Because there's so many people, there's so many doctors, there's so many nurses. You can't remember everybody's name and face. So we're back on track for the 2nd. But I said to them, now, is it true that Dr. Jethro said I have to bring the same blood type? No. You don't have to bring the same blood type. I says, okay. And I can bring any blood type. Yes. Can I give my own? No, you can't give your own blood. It's okay. So we got that straightened out. So that was the only hiccup in the whole of the process. So May 1st, we went there and we signed in, and they wheeled me up those switchbacks and they put me in the hospital bed. The room was nice and cool. I would suggest, if you have to go to a hospital, bring some warm clothes or a blanket. And then they put me on the IV, and they took my blood pressure and more blood testing for that day. One blood test and blood pressure every 3 hours. And it was normal. And then the day of the operation, the 2nd, my blood pressure was 120/80 without me taking any medicine, because I was relaxed. I didn't have any salt for almost 4 days before that. So the salt is definitely a factor in your high blood pressure. And also I cut out fat, animal fat. I was on the carnivore diet, no fat at all, nothing. And I just cut the fat off and throw it away. So my blood was 120/80. They gave me a shot of Tramadol. Tramadol is like a mild pain reliever. They bring me downstairs. They put me on the table where they were going to give me the spinal tap. They didn't want to give me general anesthesia because they didn't know if I was allergic to it. Even though I don't have allergies, they said, we'll just give you a spinal tap. So the lady says to me, Joy, her name is Joy, excellent. This is where the excellence of the hospital comes into play. So Joy says to me, she interviewed me the day before and explained what a spinal tap was, how it works, how long it works for, and why they wanted to give me that. So Joy is going to give me the spinal tap, and she gave it to me. And they transferred me over to the operating gurney. Now, this is where the fun begins. And I said to Joy, because you're awake. Now, she goes, when you're going to start to lose the feeling of your legs. You'll feel them, but you won't be able to move them. That was strange. So So I'm looking at her. She stayed with me by my side the whole time, just to make sure everything went right. She was right there the whole time. She never left my side. If I said Joy and she was talking, right? Yes, yes, Michael, how can I help? So I said to Joy, so how do you know how much fluid to put into the spinal tap to keep somebody under, you know, disabled or not being able to move for how long? You know, like, how do you know how much fluid to give somebody? She goes, it's based on your weight. I says, and what did you use for my weight? She said 119 kilos. And I said, 119. Are you crazy? She goes, why? I said, I weigh 32 kilos. And she goes, what? I nailed her. I nailed her good. I had her, for that split second, she's going through the calculations in her mind. She just gave me 6 times the amount of fluid to keep me under. And then she started laughing. When I was laughing, she goes, oh man, she goes, you had me going. So now, then by that time, it takes about 7 minutes for your legs to go numb. And by that time, they had put a tent around my chest, and the only person I could talk to was Joy. And I looked at my blood pressure. Right before she gave me the spinal tap, it was 196 over 130. An hour before, it was 120 over 80. I said, what's up with that? Is your machine broke? She goes, no, people get nervous. I said, I don't feel nervous. She goes, oh, you're nervous. That was the highest my blood ever was in all the time that I ever had a check. So when the spinal tap kicked in, the blood went right back down to 130 over 90. And that's where it stayed for the duration of the 2 hours of the operation. And I didn't feel a thing. She goes, and I says, and how long is this going to last? She goes, well, the operation is 2 hours, and your numbness will be in effect for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I'm going, you can judge within 15 minutes? I thought this was amazing. You can judge within 15 minutes how much fluid to put in me to keep me numb? She goes, yes, sir, that's my job. And I was in, the operation was over in 2 hours and 10 minutes. And the doctor said to me, can you feel any pain? I said, yeah, you know, no pain, but now I can feel the touch of your skin on my belly. And I find that amazing that now that she hit this amount of fluid exactly, precisely 2 hours and 15 minutes later, I could move my toes. And he said, that's her job. And we laughed because this doctor and I have seen each other many times since last year. So he said to me, we're going to go into recovery now. I said, well, how long is the recovery? And he said, 3 hours in the recovery room. And what they do is they take your blood pressure every 20 minutes. A machine is on your arm. It blows up automatically and then shuts off. And then if it's within the range, the machine, this is what I mean, state-of-the-art equipment. If it's within the range that it's supposed to be, it just shuts off, and in 20 minutes it takes your blood pressure again. So 3 hours later, the doctor came in and said to me, you'll be going up to your room and you'll be getting, hey, RC Outlaw, welcome, thanks for stopping by. You'll be getting, you'll be getting instructions tomorrow. You'll be in the hospital tonight. You'll get instructions tomorrow for what to do and what not to do. I said, well, I can't go home now. He goes, no, you have something to do? I said, yeah, I'm supposed to go scuba diving in the morning. I can't go scuba diving. I couldn't go because of the hernia to carry all the weight but I can't go anyway because of my ear. So the infection on my leg is almost gone. It's almost, you can't even see it anymore. I'll do a video on that to show you how many people are how wrong about the, where they said I had flesh-eating bacteria. No, that was not the case. But I'll do a video on that. We're going to do a video. We have a video coming up. How many people were wrong about how many things, and the IQ level of the average blogger on YouTube is 13, baby. But that's not today's topic. So, glasses. So, he said, you can't go scuba diving in the morning. Killing bulls. Okay, Aussie Outlaw. Aussie Outlaw always has something, a contemporary style joke. Whatever's going on in the chat, he has something to joke about. And he has a channel, Aussie Outlaw. He's actually, Aussie Outlaw is a very famous man. He's very, in his country, he has 3 champion kangaroos, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. And he has 3 champion kangaroos. He also holds not Australia world record, but the world record for skipping a rock across the top of a lake. 77 skips across the top of the water. 77 skips. If you could believe that. A round rock. He threw a round rock so hard it skipped across the water 77 times. And that's a world record. Mike Dowdy. I see Mike Dowdy. Thanks for stopping by, Mike. So, the doctor said, I was mistaken about Mike Dowdy. So, yeah, I'm not allowed to go scuba diving anymore. I don't know if I'll ever be able to go scuba diving anymore. But I only say that to get them going because they know there's a lot of gear involved with scuba diving. So now I'm in the recovery room, and that 3 hours is up. And then went upstairs, I could eat again. You have to not eat also. You can't eat for 10 or 12 hours. Hey, Candy Ford, thanks for stopping by and saying hello. Thank you. So now I was able to eat a meal. Thank you very much. And then I ate the food in that hospital was good. It was actually broiled shrimp with lemon, butter, and garlic sauce. And the vegetables were string beans with lemon, butter, and garlic. The rice was an excellent grade of rice, and there was a half of an avocado. And then I got through that meal, my dinner. By that time, the operation went from like 1 o'clock to 3. I got out at 7. They sent me my dinner at 7:15, and then the next day he came into the office, and that was the 2nd. On the 3rd, he came in at 8 o'clock. He says, "You want to go home?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "Okay, pack your stuff." He says, "But you can't walk, you can't pick anything up, anything heavy, can't be done, not allowed. And you won't be able to do anything at all except, if you're lucky, get back and forth to the bathroom." Oh yeah, the people in the hospital room, you could bring all the food you wanted. But I couldn't eat for 10, 12 hours before the operation. But you can bring any foods, water, soda, no alcohol. I don't think, but I mean, no one would know. Yeah, no, you could bring any foods that you want in. I wasn't on a restricted diet. I didn't have a heart attack or anything like that. It was just they wanted me to cut out the salt and the fat from my high blood pressure, which cut it all down. no salt and no fat, reduced my blood pressure from 165 over 100 down to pretty much normal, 130 over 90. And with just by cutting out the salt and the fat, it made a difference of 30 points. So I left the hospital, and then they gave me a list of 5 medicines. I have those on my desk. 3 of the 5. One was just a vitamin C. And thank you very much, Aussie Outlaw. One was just a vitamin C, and the other one, I don't know what it was. I didn't look it up, but we went to 3 pharmacies, and they didn't have it, so I don't know if anybody would have that last 4th medicine. So apparently I didn't need it, but I will tell you, this product here, this is the one you want. If you, I would do, I think that product called Metamucil is to loosen up your bowels. I think. I never used it. I never had to take that. This stuff, lactulose. It says Lactulose, lactulose. What it means is whatever that part is, whatever that part means, lose, L-O-S-E. The last 4 letters are lose. What it means is when you drink this stuff, you're going to have a bowel movement of untold proportions. Untold proportions. You are going to have the greatest bowel movement of your life after drinking this. This little bottle. You're only supposed to have 1 ounce after the operation. And the first bowel movement was a little bit difficult. So after that, I took 2 ounces of this stuff. And let me tell you something. I like to try to be a little bit descriptive of how things are, like when I'm explaining how to take a Bendix off a starter or something like that. I try to give you the details. Well, if you are in need of a laxative, this is an over-the-counter medication. It's not prescription only. And you have to take fiber to help your bowel movement. This stuff right here. This stuff right here. You drink 2 ounces of this. You drink 2 ounces of this, and you stay really close to a bathroom. You need to be near the CR, because it may not happen right away, but when it does happen, the floodgates open up. It looks like you have created... You ever go to a big lake, like when you were a kid, a lake where there's frogs and tadpoles sitting on top of lily pads? Well, for some reason, this stuff makes the solid matter lighter than the water, so it floats on the top. And it spreads out like leaves. Sticks together a certain amount, but it spreads out like leaves, and it covers the whole water basin with these brown leaves. More than you can imagine, to the point where all the surface area of the water has now been compromised, and it's just waiting for the tadpoles. Lactulose. This stuff works. I don't know what's in here, and it tastes good. It tastes good. Now, I haven't taken it since that day, but I had a lot of trouble right away. And the second time I took this, I said, well, that didn't work. So I drank 2 ounces of this. I never had a movement like that before. It felt like a symphony orchestra. Felt great. It was It was an amazing thing. Lactulose. I swear by it. We get a screenshot of that. For the perfect bowel movement. So I don't know anything about. I've never had to take a product to pass solids. Never since I was born, since birth. But after that medicine that they gave me, the tramadol, and the spinal, I have no idea. It was very difficult. It was very, very difficult. It was more difficult than I want to remember. But that stuff there, 2 ounces in the morning, and you'll thank me for that. And I don't know how much it was. I could look. It's not expensive. God, it was cheap. Let me... It was $5 for that little bottle. 267 pesos would be 534 cents, if my calculation is correct. So that would be 534 cents at 50 pesos to the dollar. So it was $5 for that little bottle. And I will tell you what, if you have a need for something like that, and you only have to take it, I don't know how much that other stuff is, Metamucil or whatever it is. If you have a need, you could take that with you. And that Metamucil, they sell it in quarts. This stuff, I don't even know what would happen if you drank the whole bottle. I have no idea. It might take seconds or what hours, and it tastes good. You drink it. Well, you're supposed to take an ounce of it in a shot glass, but I just drank it out of the bottle. Yeah, that was an interesting experience. The whole, but now when I went into the operating room, to give you an idea how state of the art this place is, it was. I never would have understood how technology has advanced. Everything they had there was, there were 2 people, gurney operators, in case there was an emergency, my heart stopped or something like that. I had Joy for the anesthesiologist. There were 2 interns and 2 nurses that were watching the operation. There were 2 doctors that were doing the operation, and then there was a 3rd doctor from another country, I believe India, that was watching the operation on that side of the tent. And then the machine that they had on my arm, that pumped up every 6 or 5 minutes. It did my blood pressure, and it showed you the blood pressure at 130 over 90, 131 over 92, 129 over 90, like that. And that tested every 5 minutes. And then and it gave a host of other readouts. I don't know what all the readouts, and the time. And then that thing pumped out a piece of paper with the hard results, if you wanted it to. And there was no paper coming out of it, but that goes into a computer. But if you needed it, you just push the button and the paper comes out of the back. So as far as state of the art, the equipment, everything they did was perfect. The lady who gave me the intravenous in my wrist, in here, didn't hurt. The glue stuck. She cleaned my arm well. The glue stuck. and it stayed on for the 3 days that I was there. The surgical tape that they put over the stitching, still there. You leave that on until it falls off, or the doctor takes it off. You don't take it off yourself. So that's in an article. I will give you the article, and then I will give you the name of the hernia that I had. (36.6). My temperature, 36.6. I had to buy all of this stuff. I didn't have to, but I wanted. 36.8. My temperature. Then I have one of these little doodads. You can buy the blood pressure. This blood pressure, the cuff, and the stethoscope. That's the sphygmomanometer. That's called the sphygmomanometer. You can buy the blood pressure and the stethoscope for about $13 online, and it comes with one of these. This one checks the oxygen level in your blood. $99, $97, $90. It went from 97 to 99 to 96. So my blood level is 96. My heart rate is 75, I think. It does more stuff. I'm not real sure. So that's the left finger. Let's put it on the right finger. $98. So my blood is circulating properly, and you could put that on your earlobe or anything you want. So I'll read the comments and say thanks for stopping by. Yeah, that is the one setback of the Philippines that a lot of people believe that, and this is from Aussie Outlaw, a lot of people believe that the Philippines culture can speak English, and that's a misnomer. They don't speak very, well, they understand the basic words. Like if you say, do you understand English? In those words, do you understand English? They will say yes. Well, what you ask them is, do you understand English? What they think you mean is, do you understand that I am saying the word English, the word English? But do they understand all these idiosyncrasies of the English language? The answer is no. They don't understand any of that. Now, if you say Kasabut English, which means do you understand English? They will say yes. They understand the word English. That's it. So when you get here, don't get frustrated that they don't know your language, because when they start talking to you in their language, you don't understand that either. But another setback is that they don't understand what you want. They may have it. Now, Aussie's saying that that he spoke in slang. I don't know. The pharmacies that I've been to, I'll just give you a hint about buying medicine in the Philippines. TM Pharmacies. It's got a red and black, and it's a white building with a red and black sign. It's a discount pharmacy. You can buy, I will give you an example. If you want to buy ibuprofen, TM Pharmacies has 100 400 milligram pills for 215 pesos. 250. That's $4.30. 215 pesos. And that's one TM store, but and they are every 500 feet on the main road. There's hundreds of pharmacies. Now the next TM pharmacy is around the corner, about 400 feet away. And their price might be, I said 215 pesos, $4.30. The next place might be 350 pesos for the same exact box. Same exact box. Now if you go to another pharmacy called the 360 pharmacy, they may want 660 pesos or $13.20 for that same brand and same box. The brands are the same in all the pharmacies. So it could go from $4.30 in the first place that I go to. It could go up to $13.20 just 3 doors away. Walk 2 blocks and you're going to get prices between $2.15 and $6.60. You might get a price for $500. There's no set price. It's whatever the market will bear. And as some people have said, Hilaw Kano Aray. And if you don't know what that means, you should. Hilaw Kano means fresh American, fresh foreigner. Hilaw Kano Aray means the new Kano has arrived. Hilaw Kano Aray. And that's like one of the things that I say to the people, not on screen though. Hilaw Kano Aray, when they give me some crazy price. Hilaw Kano Aray Dali. Hilaw Kano Aray Dali. Which means I'm not new to the Philippines. So then they stick with their price. They're not going to change their price. Whatever price that pharmacy gave you. And it's ridiculous because the same company, the same TM owns the same pharmacy 400 feet away, and one's price is 100 pesos more, $2 more than the price right around the corner. Not only that, if they don't have what you want, and they tell you, can you wait 5 minutes, they'll go to the other store and get inventory from the other store and sell it to you for their price. That's happened too. So $2.15 for a box, and I wanted 4 boxes. This goes back into January, so I don't have to go so often to buy ibuprofen because I use it for my leg. And do you have 4 boxes? No, sir, we have 2 boxes, but we can get 2 other boxes. And the lady walked outside, walked around the corner, 3 doors off the corner. She got 2 more boxes, and then she sold it to me for $2.15. But the other store wanted 100 pesos more. So the cost to both the stores are the same. So you really got to shop for medicine, is what I'm saying. One place will sell you a prescription that I'm not going to give you all the names of the pharmacies that I've tested out. I would not go to Watson's pharmacy. As a last resort, they almost always have what you need, but it's typically twice whatever you pay someplace else. So if I pay $1 for a pill, and one pharmacy may have 5 of those pills, and I need 21, you go to the next pharmacy, they may have 4, that's 9. I still need 11. Now, you have to go to another pharmacy, they might have 6. Okay, that's 15, I still need 6. Each place that you go to, the pill could be $1, $1.20, $1.50 for each pill. But you go to Watson's, Yes, sir, we have all those pills. You need 6 pills, and then they charge you $2 a pill. So the first place was $1, second place maybe $1.20, maybe $1.30, like that. Watson's charges you $2 for a pill, but they have it in stock. What they don't have in stock is very little. They have almost everything in stock every day, all the time. Pretty much Watson's had whatever I needed as a last resort. Now, Rose Pharmacy, now there's a lookout on the 3rd floor. Looks like a submarine, the big binoculars that they have in the submarine. There's a lookout on the 3rd floor. You could see the hospital from Rose Pharmacy, and there's a lookout up there, and he's looking, well, she's looking, and they see, well, there's that big guy who's just left the hospital, and they follow you. They do a movement check on you, and then as you're walking down the block there, we got Hilo Kano arrive, Hilo Kano arrive. They know you're coming to Rose because you're on that side of the street and there's only one pharmacy over there. Hilo Kano arrive, and then Rose. Whoa. Rose will charge you, I'm using an example as $1 per pill because some of my pills, the co-amoxicillin 625s for $1 a pill. Rose charges $2.60. TM charges $1.50. And there's another pharmacy, a no-name pharmacy in the middle of a street that I don't even know the name of. I don't even remember the name of the pharmacy. There's a little pharmacy in the middle of a street 2 blocks away from Watson that sells those pills for 60 pesos. So you can buy them for 60 cents. 60 cents, $1, $1.50, $2, and $2.60. But Rose, they see you coming. They go, Hilo Kano Arai, Hilo Kano Arai, 30 seconds and counting, Hilo Kano Arai. So what I'm saying is $2.60 for one pill, or 60 cents, means $2 difference for 21 pills. That's a $40 difference for one prescription. So you really should go to multiple pharmacies and check the prices of multiple pharmacies. Some of the stuff I take cost 8 pesos. Some of the stuff I was taking for my leg infection was 8 pesos, 16 cents. In one store, 8, and in another store, 49. Another store, 63. So now you're paying 8 times the price. 8 times the, and you tell them, look, I can buy this medicine for 8 pesos. Tramadol. Now it's a pain, over-the-counter pain prescription pill. 8 pesos, 16 cents. It's like ibuprofen, but no one had ibuprofen, so I had to buy Tramadol. 8 pesos, or as much as 18 or 19 or 20 pesos per pill, just within 2 or 3 doors. So you really should shop for your medicine. And there's no way of knowing how much they're going to charge you. It's whatever I don't know how they do it. I don't think they say, well, he's a foreigner. I think that's just their price. And if you pay it, you pay it. Because when you tell them, look, you want 19 pesos, there's another pharmacy that wanted 23. And I said, look, I can buy that in the TM right across from the hospital for 8 pesos. Yes, sir, you go back. And I had to walk back a block. No big deal. But so if you're going to pay 3 times the price for medicine, and you have to buy 100 pieces, so now 20 pesos, that's 2,000 pesos for Tramadol, if you're going to buy 100 pieces. So, and normally I buy 100. Now, ibuprofen is for 100 pieces, it's 215 pesos, it's 2 pesos a piece, 4 cents a piece. So Tramadol is twice the price, It doesn't work as well for me, and it could be 8 times the price as ibuprofen, and ibuprofen works better. There is an advantage, but I can't get into the medical aspect of it. You're only supposed to take a certain amount of ibuprofen a day. Your liver is not supposed to be able to take more than 400 milligrams a day. That's the prescribed maximum. I don't take that much, so I don't worry about it. But you really have to shop for medicine because there's no prescribed totals. I'll take a look at this. Gilda's Merkin-Wig. Hello. Said good afternoon. Good afternoon. Dances with Ask. Oh, I know you. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Dances with Askels was up. I definitely owe you an apology. Do you know that I've tried? Now that I have time, let me write this down. I've tried to get my Skype to work for your phone number. And I only tried a few times and I gave up. But I did say I would do that. I did say I was going to do that, Dances with Askels, and I never did it. I forgot all about it. And you've been very, very good with me. I have to say thank you for that. So I'm going to write it down again and see if we get that done now that I have time. I have had... I've been trying to buy parts. I have a job that I'm doing, and getting parts here in the Philippines. I have a picture of a part. I can't pick the part up anymore, so it doesn't matter. It's a part that normally I could just pick it up with one hand, throw it on my shoulder, and walk it 1,000 feet. It's no problem, but I can't do that now. I've been online. I literally spent 2 days online, about 4 hours a day, looking for a part. I can't find the part number. I can't find an original part book. I own one. It's on its way to the Philippines. Scott sent it out March 9th, but I don't have the part number. And there's no cross-reference on eBay or Napa. They don't have a cross-reference. They need the part number to look at the part. Let me money in Skype. So I tried a few times. I literally tried with my debit card. It wouldn't take it. My credit card is in America. I wonder if I could take the numbers off that credit card and just use it that way online. It would not take my PNB card, I'm not sure why. It's an American-based Skype account. I never had. I had for Australia and America before. I paid it, but I paid it with my American debit card, my American credit debit card. So you know what? I got to write that down. Hold on a minute. I forgot all about that. Tom numbers credit. Okay, yeah, I didn't do that. So Dances with Askels, I apologize. Dennis, my friend Dennis. Thanks, Dennis. I haven't sent out any videos of my projects. I was this close. You know what I'm doing. A few of other people know what I'm doing and where I'm doing it. And I was on that. I was ready to go. Ready to turn it on and go places. and the starter, it won't work. So I will buy a new one, the $770. And I don't care, I'm not paying for it, so it don't matter. But I was this close to finishing the job. So the fella says to me, what happened? And I said, you were standing there. You saw me take it apart. The thing is, the Bendix is broke. Well, how did that happen? Well, I don't know. It's your machine. Why would I know how you broke the Bendix? They go. They just wear out. There's springs. There's 3 springs, typically, and 3 huge ball bearings or roller bearings, and they go. So I have all those videos loaded up to turning the key and finalizing the project, and it wouldn't stop. All the water pumps, the water pump leaks are gone. Everything's installed. The new radiator's all done. Leaks on that all fixed, and everything is done. Everything is done. Everything is done. And I think the guy broke the Bendix because he knew I was going into the hospital. Maybe he doesn't have to pay me. No, I'm only kidding about that. But yeah, I was all ready to start it up and be done with that. That was several months. But so you'll see it when I have a book coming from America that I had to order for that job. And I ordered it for that job when I started that job back in January. And then I found one in March and sent it to Scott, and he sent it to me. They won't ship it to the Philippines. Directly from where I bought it, they only ship to a U.S. address. So I ordered a bunch of stuff for the hotel construction project, boxes of tools and things like stuff that I can't get here. And that was my book for that machine, which I'll get reimbursed for, but I don't have the part number. And I don't know that I'll even be able to get the part. I don't know. And to talk to the people here in the Philippines, do you know of a shop that rebuilds start? No, sir. You have to go to Manila for that. I'm going, that doesn't make any sense. Do you have the part number? Yes, sir. Okay, give us a sample. This is a part number for another item. It was an I.M.O 2236 for an alternator. And I give him the part number. Yes, sir. Do you have the alternator with you? No, sir. Oh, you have to bring the alternator. I just gave you the part number. Yes, sir, but we have to see the alternator. Well, they only make one of those parts. Yes, sir. If you get an alternator with that stamp on it, that's the one I want. Yes, sir. But you have to bring your alternator. We need a sample. It's hard doing business here. So I didn't get, the starter was, the alternator was addressed, that issue, in a very unorthodox method. And it never did work again. So I had to put an actual charging station in the machine, part of the machine's electrical wiring. They don't get parts here. Oh, and the alternator that I could get, that was $770 too. For an alternator, which if I was in America, which I'm not, I probably could have bought that alternator to an alternator shop and had it fixed for $100, but I'm not there. And to ship it back and forth is several hundred. It's $190 to ship an alternator. Oh, the alternator is $560, $543. The alternator is, and the shipping, with shipping, it's $777. I said that it's really not worth it, but it's up to you. I'll get it for you if you want. No, I don't want to spend that much. Joe, you do what you want. So yeah, thanks for stopping by, Dennis. Yeah, it's hard to get parts. So I wrote that down, Dances with Haskell, and now that I have some time, maybe I'll even get to it. I have an idea that I'm working on. I don't know that I'm going to get to it. My computer won't do editing. My editing software on the computer just locks up my computer. So one of the things that I decided that I might do yesterday is learn how to do editing on my phone, which it does, but I don't know how to do it. I have an idea for a Bud Light commercial that's going to rock this community's world. But I don't know. If I'm able to make the video, I think it'll be one of those viral videos. The ones that they get 50, 70, 80,000 views on. I have a really cool idea for a Bud Light commercial. That is a phenomenon that's taken over the industry. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. So I'm not really worried about it. But this phone that I have, my goodness, it does so many things. There are videos that last 2 hours and 57 minutes that teach you 127 tricks. And that's just for the beginner. There's so many things inside. My phone has 100 megapixel ability to take a picture at 100 megapixels. You know that in the 70s, NASA didn't even have 14 megapixel cameras to take pictures in space. When they sent up the Hubble telescope, that might have been a little bit more than 40 megapixels. These phones are amazing. I could be wrong about that number. I just threw a stupid number out. But when I was doing my dollar bill videos in early 2000s, the highest resolution camera that you could buy, you couldn't buy anything better. I have a Canon G20. I had the Sony S150. It had a megapixel range of 3 megapixels, I think it was, if I remember correctly. Because my pictures, a lot of my picturs are on 2.3 megapixels, 2.8. It might have been a 3 megapixel camera in the Sony with a Zeiss, Z-I-S-S, Zeiss lens, which is the best lens in the world. Still to this day, it always was, since beginning of time. And on my Canon GS20, I think I could take 2.8 megapixel pictures. Now, a standard $12 phone comes with a 12 megapixel camera. So, if anybody ever gets the chance to go back in time, travel through time, all you need to do is put a few cell phones in your pocket, and you will be the richest man in all of history. Go back, take this Samsung phone back to 1960 and tell them what it could do and show them what it can do, with a charger, of course. And they will give you $1 billion for this phone. $1 billion. Because the technology that are in these phones it's amazing. It's almost as if it came from another world, the technology, what it does, how fast it does the computation, and the technology is just amazing. But imagine having 100 megapixel picture. We'll take a picture of your face, a selfie. You can see the oil coming out of the pores of your skin. Really, you can do that. All right, so then thanks everybody for watching. And to the 1 or 2 people that asked me the dumb questions is, why did I wait 14 months to get my hernia operation? I didn't wait a day. I was scheduled in February of 2022 for May of 2023. That was the first opening for that surgery in that hospital in BOHOL. Now, I could have went someplace else, maybe, I don't know, and got it done sooner. Or maybe I could have went to Manila or another country and had it done right away. I don't know. But I'm here, and as long as I was pretty much paying attention what I could and couldn't do, I didn't do it. Now, did I pick up stuff that weighed more than a gallon of milk? Yes, I did. In fact, you all know, my friends, you all know I did. But I used my shoulders and my back. But when I picked up something that was too heavy and I wasn't using the right muscle, the tear in my lower abdomen hurt bad. It hurt. And my testicle would fill up with fluid, or not fluid, but intestinal, small intestine. That was an interesting thing. So the people on YouTube, they make up so many stories. FAZIO waited 14 months. No, I didn't wait. I didn't even wait a day. I got the operation date schedule and I went. He didn't have a hernia. Well, there was, if I would have said I had a hernia before I went into the hospital, no, he doesn't have a hernia. He's making up stories. You know, I don't, this video was not about hate, but I'm going to do a video on haters. I'm definitely going to do one of those. Oh, it's coming. I'm making notes, and I'm checking them twice, and I got nothing to do for the next 2 or 3 weeks except sit right here in my chair and take notes. You have some of the strangest people. Not that necessarily their IQ, but on a perverse level, we have some of the greatest degenerates in the world here in this small community of Philippines genre people, where one degenerate is glad-handing and slapping another one on the back and sending them super chat. That degenerate is stealing the money from the people he was supposed to give it to begin with. And that's been going on for years. For years. There's no accountability. There's no, chart. Yeah, well, I collected, $300 or I didn't collect enough money to pay my lawyer. And then in another video, he tells you that he collected 150,000 pesos and he paid his lawyer, but there's no case. So what is it going to be? I'm going to make notes. I'm making a list and checking it twice. I'm going to tell you who's naughty or nice. This community leaves a lot to be desired. And it seems now, and I'll leave off on this note, it seems that in this community, we're just going to call each member of the community a sperm cell. Thank you very much, Leo from Frio. Thank you. We're going to use the terminology, the icon of each member of the Philippines community is one sperm cell. And in order to create something, the sperm cells have to come together and fertilize the egg. That's true. And that's the analogy that I'm going to use when I talk about the members of the Philippines blogging community. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be, and it's going to stink. It's going to stinketh, as they say in the Bible. But I'm going to do it anyway. And then I'm going to talk about each individual sperm cell's perversions and their propensity to be perverse, not just off screen, but on screen, and to make a spectacle of themselves on screen. Oh, this is going to be classic FAZIO. Don't make any mistake about it. I've thought this out in my head for a while. Yes, we will have a collective consciousness of individual sperm cells coming together to create systems and programs and e-begging scams and passing their girlfriends around like cotton candy at a church festival. It's gonna happen. Thanks for watching. And God day to everybody from Michael Fazio and Daisy May. And they should be coming back soon. Hey, Ingram Glassaya, Salamat, thank you for stopping by. I'm Big Permy, which of course means take care always. Bye-bye for now. Remember, it takes a colony of sperm to create a system. Just like jellyfish and when the reefs are pollinated. Little pollinations, pollinizing and pollinating little different various sections of degeneracy all over the internet. Oh, it's going to be good. And we're going to be using names. There's going to be names involved. Bye-bye for now. From the Philippines, baby. That's right. That's right. Oy vey and shalom from Rabbi Jew Barker in the Philippines, baby.